Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 30th of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the standout issues and strands to look out for. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts. Now this week of course begins with a new moon in Gemini. Now Gemini energy is all about how we think. It's very nimble and agile, can be very amusing, very much to do with sharing ideas and interacting in a bright and bubbly way. But of course the moon is very much how we feel about things, and the sign of Gemini is very much more about how we assess things from a more logical viewpoint. So one of the things that we can do over the next month is to meld our drive and our ideas much more closely to how we actually feel. So it's an opportunity for sure. Now this is also a week when Mars and Jupiter continue to be very closely together. The exact conjunction actually happened as last week came to a close. So that combination can give us a lot of thrust, a lot of traction, a lot of enthusiasm in the sign of Aries. That's very much about getting things off the ground. But both the position of Mars and Jupiter are forging a relatively positive angle to Venus, which of course is now returned to the sign of Taurus, which it governs. So that thrust and the ideas energy that the new moon has given us in Gemini can certainly see us working towards making the most of our resources, which Venus in Taurus can be very good at grappling with. Can also give us an appreciation of good food and good wine and more sensual pleasures as well. But then on Friday, Mercury ends its retrograde, also in the sign of Taurus. So, you know, we've all been challenged by this new financial reality which is kicking in, and it has been retrograde since the 10th of May and in the sign of Taurus since the 23rd of May. But then on Saturday, Mercury comes out of shadow, but also Saturn goes into a retrograde in the sign of the people, the collective, the sign of Aquarius. So it's possible through to the 23rd of October that we're going to be more mindful, I think, over a period of time of how connected we are to one another. I'm going to do a special on the fact that Saturn and Uranus are going to go through a square again within 3 degrees from the 11th of August, so please look out for that. But the other thing to tell you is that Mercury, despite that retrograde, is actually in a very subtle but powerful link to Neptune. So one of the things that we can do this week is listen to our hunches, because they can serve us very well indeed. So Virgo, your weekly forecast for week commencing the 30th of May obviously sees your ruling planet Mercury start to go forwards. But even before then, it's forging a delightful link with Neptune. Sometimes when Mercury is preparing to go direct and then of course come from shadow, some of the snags and snares that it's been causing actually can get resolved. And part of the issue here is that because Mercury is in that part of your situation to do with contracts or understandings or even travel, Neptune just suggests that if you listen very sensitively, there could be some information or some perceptions, the way you look at things, that can alter to your advantage. The new moon is definitely giving you a glorious platform to raise your profile, to be more self-confident in your approach to your worldly interactions. And of course, that combination between Mars and Jupiter, it could be seeing you focus much more on your longer term financial position. It could see you thinking much more about where you're invested in a relationship context, even a romantic one, with the steamy energies of Mars in the mix. And both are in a semi-sextile to Venus in the part of your horoscope very much to do with the truth of situations. So I think you can gain a lot of perceptions this week in a very positive way. Now, of course, Saturn goes retrograde as the week draws to a close. You have a natural appreciation of the detail, of precision, of order and organisation. So Saturn retrograde over the next months is really asking you, okay, where are the areas that you have not yet nailed? Are there some new approaches that you could gain, especially around things like nutrition? It's not necessarily just what we eat, it's what we absorb well. So some deeper reading about the foodstuffs that agree with you or not, or if you're in a job which is perhaps worthy but not very satisfying, the sixth house rules work there too. So maybe there's some changes that are set to come. So you could use that natural meticulous energy of yours perhaps in another newer way, and Saturn can encourage that over the next few months.